Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. Now, starting off, we have this uptrend right here, with this spike. We have a break, push up to a new high, and we reverse back down below the EMA. And now this is very typical. When an uptrend gets a break to new high, you can expect reversal. It's called playing out. When it has the break to new high, of course, same thing with downtrends. You can expect a break to new low. And I just want to point out these price action levels here. So even though we have a clear break to new high and reversal back down, on a bigger picture, zoom out a bit, it's a little bit easier to see. This is clearly just one leg higher here. And so as we make that reversal down, this is really just the bigger picture break from this uptrend. So we can see here we have uptrend, break, first attempt at a new high, second attempt at a new high, and it makes a new high with two measured legs before reversing back down off of that overnight high. So I just wanted to go over that because even though you can clearly see that break to new high reversal, you don't want to completely rule out this uptrend right here, because you need to look at the bigger picture structures. And on a bigger picture, this is the break. Once again, you get those two attempts at a new high before reversing back down after those two measured legs. So anyway, after we push back down right here, I was open to a reversal. Now say you get this uptrend break new high, you reverse back down, and you get two attempts to get above the EMA. If it holds below both attempts, then it could easily just move back to the other side, and then you could have these smaller trends playing out to each side of the range. But clearly what ends up happening is we get that first leg. You don't want to go short after one attempt, and I can see there's a tick lower there, but this is really just one leg higher here. And so you don't want to go short after one attempt higher. You want to wait on a second attempt. And by the time you get that second attempt, we're already rushing above the EMA. If we had pushed lower, a little bit lower here, we could have gotten two clear legs to the EMA and continue lower. But we continue higher. And so basically what that's telling me is we're going on to a bigger picture here. So now I'm viewing this leg up as we're moving it higher here. This is the first attempt at a new high for this uptrend. So we have uptrend, break, and then here we're making that first attempt at a new high. Once again, just on a bigger picture. Same concept as right here, but on a bigger picture. So anyway, we start getting congestive up here. I didn't like any trades. We made this new high. We got this first entry long. Of course, you don't want to take just a first entry. You get a second entry long, it's, pushing below the EMA. You don't want to enter right into the EMA after something like that. So of course, I don't like that long there or anything. And so we start getting choppy. And then, even though, we had this clear range right here, it was clearly going sideways, we had a breakout. That doesn't mean you immediately want to go long. You weren't off of any support. The EMA was down. It was right into the EMA. There's really no reason to enter on that. Now, you could expect a possible second leg higher, of course, but you can't be so sure that it's going to stem from there. It could easily, tick off that EMA, stop you out, and then get that second leg up, from a lower point. So I don't like that right there, but we do end up pushing higher here, and I think it would have been fine to look for a long. Say we push above and get two legs back to the EMA, but unfortunately we ended up just reaching the overnight high and getting this first entry long. And you do not want to go long after a first entry after coming off of the overnight high. This is a major key level here. If you bounce off of it, you do not want to enter long after a first entry. You need to see two attempts down, because when you come off one side, you can expect to reach the other side, and you want to see two attempts to reach the other side before you continue long again. Once again, a first entry is already usually not enough, but when it's off of a major key level, you really want to see two legs back. And so anyway, no way to enter long here safely, but it does push higher. Now we start finding resistance again at this overnight high, so it's the third bounce off of it. Now zoom out on a big picture, it's really just the second bounce, but we're getting another reaction off of it, and then we rush below the EMA here. Now, to go over it again, we had uptrend, break, first attempt at a new high, second attempt at a new high, successfully made a new high, clearly rejecting the overnight high level, and then we rushed below the EMA, and I got filled on a limit order here. I didn't want to enter into the EMA because it was just, we had this bullish imbalance. We bounced early here, and then we didn't make a a leg down reaching the overnight low, we bounced higher up. And so this is clearly a sign of a bullish imbalance. So I was not willing to enter into the EMA. But after we got below, then I was absolutely wanting to go short, getting out before this swing here. And so used a limit order. Doesn't seem, there we go. Got out right before that previous swing. I like this trade. Once again, very clear context. Off the overnight high, rushing below. Use a limit order, a few ticks back, right at the end of these 2 attempts at a new high. So anyway, we push lower here. We get a couple legs down, which on a big picture we can tell is all fitting within this channel. We have this 1 leg down here. And so we have this downtrend, then we have this clear 2-legged break. And so the EMA was flat. We were clearly going in this range. At first I had it like this, but then I moved it up to here after this swing because it matched well with this. And so I left it there. And then we got these 2 legs up off of it. And I want to go over why I didn't like going short right there. So yeah, I got no filled on this. It pushed below, was unable to get filled with a limit order. But basically the idea of the trade was we have downtrend, break, first attempt at a new low, and then my entry is on the second attempt at a new low. And so it's also at a 2-legged break, measured legs, clearly finding resistance up here. And then by the time that my entry, which of course, like I said, I was unable to get filled, but by the time I was trying to enter, it was closing below the EMA. And there's a reason I wanted it to close below the EMA. Now, it was kind of chopping through the EMA, also after reversing down. So the EMA wouldn't be as big of a deal. But it is important to consider this downtrend had a break. We made that first attempt at a new low. And now this when I'm going to get into here, it might be a little bit confusing, especially if you don't understand price action levels and how they get larger and how all that works. So this might be a little bit confusing, but notice how on a small picture, at first, after this downtrend has a break, we have that first attempt at a new low and then second attempt at a new low. Now, like I said, my entry right here, this is the second attempt at a new low. But on the small picture, after we have this first attempt here, this leg right here is going to count as that second attempt. So it's like downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, failure. So I did not want to enter short right into the EMA right after a failure that pushed higher and also unable to reach the other side. So it was indicating that we were losing bearish momentum by not able to reach the lows of this range, but also it was a failure. Now, we zoom out on a big picture, we can still tell even with that push down and that push higher, it's still clearly just 2 legs up right there. On a big picture, like I said, we can clearly see we have downtrend, break, first attempt lower. We can still look for that second attempt lower because it didn't last very long here. We pushed lower here, pushed back higher, it didn't last very long. So we know that we can still get that second attempt for this, bigger uptrend, this bigger downtrend. And so the point is that I was trying to make with that is, once again, it was right after a failure on a small picture, but it still rushed above. There wasn't much separation before this bar right here. And then also I do want to point out, and I do believe that, when it ticked lower here, it nearly stopped you out. And I really do believe that's probably because of this slight bullish imbalance and right after that failure higher. So I just wanted it below the EMA. So I hope that's clear to understand. I know that's probably confusing because I was going between, this, like I said, the first attempt lower, second attempt lower, failure, but then my entry right here still being the second attempt lower on a bigger picture. The point is, trading, it can be very confusing sometimes. I think I might want to make a video on price action levels because, which that reminds me, I was supposed to make a video this weekend. Anyway, I'm getting kind of off track here. So anyway, we push lower here. I do want to make a video about price action levels, so I will remember that. But anyway, we push on lower here, and then we reach the overnight low. And now notice how we have, as we push lower here, we're clearly getting a second leg down for this. So we have that second attempt at a new low, and it's clearly forming that second leg on a big picture. Now we find resistance at the overnight low here. We get this first entry short, and then a huge bar. Of course, no way. It's just a first entry, no room anyway. And here we bounce again. We get another first entry, And then this downtrend, it was like that. It was breaking it. So I didn't like, it wasn't holding off of anything here. But also, once again, we made that new low just a first entry anyway. But I drew this just to see how it holds. We pushed through the overnight low. We got choppy around here. Then we get this first entry short, and then it stays choppy. And then we get a second leg up right here, and then that turns into a, we hold above the EMA for quite a while and draw out this wider channel. It fit pretty well off those highs. We're starting to overshoot now, but clearly there was something here. EMA's at the same angle of it about, so clearly something there. But what I was hoping for around here was I wanted to get a couple legs down to the key entry point, because we push back in here. It's clear that it's just a leg, just one leg. And so if we could have gotten 2 clear legs down to this key entry point, one, of course, it would have been off the key entry point, which is good, but it also would have been like a break of this channel. So it's not a perfect trend line for it, but the point is clearly it's a leg up. If we had pushed all the way down here, it would have had a break. So it would have been like uptrend, break, expecting a new high, and also off of this wider key entry point. So I was hoping for something like that, but unfortunately we did not get anything. Now I do want to mention here, we have the first entry long, second entry long. Now when you come off one side of a channel, whether it's a range or a channel, when you come off one side, you want to see 2 attempts to reach the other side before you continue in the other direction. Now at first, as we started pushing higher here, it's kind of hard to find the uptrend. At first it looks like it's there, but then it just, rockets out of it. And then after we kind of hold around that area for a bit, that's when this trend becomes more clear. And so if you have it here, you have 1 attempt to reach the other side. You're coming off the high. You have 1 attempt to reach these lows. That is not enough to go long. You want to see 2 attempts to reach the other side before you continue with it, because that's how trendline rules work. When you come off one side, price will attempt twice to reach the other side. Now, of course, it's not going to attempt twice every time, but in order to enter safely, you want to enter after 2 attempts. But we only get a first entry there, but then here we get 1, 2 attempts to reach the other side. Now, it is holding on the EMA here, and there is room, and I would get out before these highs because it is getting a little bit sideways here, but it's still clear. Even though it's a little bit sideways, we can still clearly tell that it's a second entry long, 2 attempts to reach this other side here. It's holding on the EMA. The EMA is very consistent. I think you can take that and just get out before these highs up here. Not every trade is going to be very big. Not every trade is going to be massive. Just take this and ride it to the other side. Unfortunately, I did not see this. This might have happened while I was making the video, or right before. Either way, I did not see that, but that looks really good, and I wish that I did see that because that looks really good. But anyway, once again, first entry long, second entry long, holding on that EMA again. Clearly has enough room, even though it's a bit sideways. You can still tell what price is doing. You absolutely have enough room. So yeah, that sucks. How I just literally just missed that. I don't know if that happened while I was making the video or if it happened right before, but yeah, that's a pretty clear trade. Kind of sad I missed that just now. But anyway, moving on from that, stuff like this happens every now and then. You're gonna look back, see something you just missed, and it's just part of trading. Not a big deal. Still got this 25 ticks, so I am absolutely happy with today. But anyway, I hope this video helped out, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.